Today marks 1 year since Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich was wrongfully imprisoned in Russia on espionage charges. President Biden this morning called his detention illegal and wholly unjust. The Wall Street Journal running this powerful front page. It says his story should be here. And the fight for his freedom grows stronger each day. Evan's family says they will not stop until he's home.
I'm sure you can imagine this has been a really difficult year for our family. It's just a lot of uncertainty, and we just have to take it day by day.
Evan's sister, Danielle Gershkovich, speaking out at the National Press Club here in Washington, along with Wall Street Journal assistant editor Paul Beckett and many others. Evan is the American-born son of Soviet-era Russian Jewish emigres to the U.S., Ella and Mikhail Gershkovich. His parents taught him Russian as he was growing up in Princeton, New Jersey, a valuable asset in his work as a journalist. On March 29th of last year, Evan was on assignment in Russia's fourth largest city, Yekaterinburg, when he was detained by the Federal Security Service. He had full press credentials from Russia's foreign ministry.
Obviously, the Russians, and when they confirmed that they had him, immediately accused him of espionage, and it was vital for us to counter that falsehood in his participation, along with the White House, which was also quick to very publicly condemn it and deny it.
Evan became the first American journalist since the Cold War to be accused of being a spy and was sent to the notorious Lefortovo prison in Moscow, famous for imprisoning political dissidents, and was the scene of mass executions and torture during the reign of Joseph Stalin. He spends 90% of his time each day in a small cell.
We would like the U.S. government to do whatever it takes to bring Evan home.
Right.
Evan is in Lefortovo prison, the prison that's designed to isolate and break you down.
We expect Evan will face trial. Given the nature of the system, we'd expect him to be convicted.
The U.S. government has officially recognized Evan as wrongfully detained and has called for his immediate release. President Biden says the U.S. government is working around the clock to bring him home. Last month, Vladimir Putin said a prisoner swap was being discussed with Washington, but refused to give a time frame for a deal.
Out of standing here at 1 year, I've been reflecting a lot, and it's incredible to see this community of journalists rally around Evan. We're so grateful. We're just going to keep believing that we're going to get Evan home soon.
And we are too. That fight is going to continue. Emily, this is what Putin does, though. He takes Americans because they're very valuable bargaining chips for him.
I think what makes me feel especially sad on this day, as I'm so grateful that we are shedding light on this continued tragic and deeply unfair situation, because we know this is what Putin does, is when I hear my president say, as he did, to all Americans abroad held hostage, wrongfully detained, to Evan, to Paul Whelan, he said, "We are with you. We will never stop working to bring you home." I feel a measure of disbelief at that statement, because he worked real hard immediately to exchange Brittany Griner for the Merchant of Death. And I feel when I see his sort of attitude of the fear of escalation and the fact that he doesn't draw that hard line, or it seems he doesn't, then I think about all the good work Bill Browder did on behalf of Sergei Magnitsky. So much work that has been done just simply unravels with a president that isn't firm to stand against Putin and say, we are bringing him home now.
Yeah, and Tommy, I mean, the difficult thing is we don't have the Merchant of Death this time around. I mean, we understand who Putin wants is somebody that's being held in Germany, because we don't just take people, so we have them for these negotiating employees.
Right, and that's why this is so difficult. But I'm glad that you brought up Brittany Griner, because it's really hard with the fanfare that got and the press attention that got. It's really hard, I'm sure, for the family and those to look at that and wonder, why not my loved one? Why are they not as important? Is it because they're not a WNBA player? Is it because maybe they don't garner as much attention with a certain base? And we don't want to think that way, but it's hard to miss that, and it's hard to miss that feeling. But I also just think this also brings home, right now in a time when a lot of America doesn't trust the media and a lot of America doesn't trust journalism, when you've got someone out there that's a true journalist that's willing to sacrifice for journalism, that to me is also inspirational, because it shows that there are still people in this profession that care enough about this profession that they're willing to risk something like that. So to me, it's also inspirational as much as it is tragic.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, he's a hero. We understand he keeps a schedule there. He is able to get messages, and we only can hope that he knows how many people are fighting for him.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I don't think I'm aware of how the news isn't out there about Evan, because we come in the building every day and I stand with Evan and we see his big picture. So it's on our minds all the time around here. But it's good that, you know, we're using this opportunity, the anniversary of his, you know, taken hostage, to get the word out. And hopefully, all I say is a lot of the stuff is behind the scenes. We don't know what's going on, and all you can do is hope that it's going to be resolved soon.
Yeah, and Tammy, like you said, Russia is going to say he's a spy, he's a suspect. But as you said, and Thomas, you just said too, he's a hostage.
Well, that's it. And we know he's not the only American hostage, right? We still have hostages being held by Hamas. They also have 2 dead bodies of Americans that they are holding as well. This is, while Evan is the face and is very important, it really is important for Americans to know that this is about a complete situation that has drawn us in as a nation, that we are living on the same planet. And just a little while ago, reports were that the United States warned Russia about an impending terrorist attack. And apparently they didn't take it seriously, or they didn't do whatever they needed to do. They had that horrible massacre at the concert hall. But in the midst of being human beings on this planet, we weren't going to withhold what we knew to try to help them. That should have been a signal to normal human beings that we are in this together. Yes, we have different interests, I understand, and we don't need to be naive, but that's not about being naive. It's a reminder that this is all linked, that we are in a world now that is, of course, in a shocking place with wars, and you've got North Korea, you've got Israel, you've got Middle East, you've got Russia. None of us can survive this if it's like this. And that's the alternative that Americans have to see. America does not do this. Other countries do. That's a sign of who those other countries are and why Evan is everyone. Just like the hostages whose names you might not know in Israel are all of us, because it could be any of us traveling as a tourist, as someone who is an expat, whatever. This is the world. They happen to be the ones at risk. So when you see Evan, or you think about hostages, American hostages, you think about your daughter, you think about your husband, your son, the person you love, because that's who they are.
Yeah, and like you said, there are so many of these situations, Americans being wrongfully held all over the globe. Evan is sort of the name, the face that he would want fighting for everyone else as well, not just him. We've got Paul Whelan there and many others. So to every family out there, every American out there who's worried about somebody and loves somebody who is trapped somewhere, Tom, I think you're right. I think the administration is working behind the scenes all the time to try to get these folks home. And may we get a deal together to get them all home, including Evan. And if you want to join the fight for his freedom here at home, you know, today it's simple. Just use the hashtag #IStandWithEvan on social media. Hopefully that news, that encouragement gets to him and to others being wrongfully held around the world.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.